How do you sleep at night?
Under these circumstances?
Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting?
Who are you displacing?
Who are you displacing? Who are you displacing? Who are you displacing? Who are you displacing?
I wish the worst for your family to be displaced as well. Good luck for the rest of your life in hell.
It's not personal.
It is personal. It is personal. Why does anybody look at it now?
We'll all remember your face.
No.
We have video. And the God will see.
Yes, but all the auctioneers have been friendly to us.
Thank you for being friendly and cooperative, but why are you doing this?
That you had good question. House.
So, what do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight
What
back!
do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
Whose homes?
Our homes!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose street?
Our streets!
Whose country?
Our country!
Banks got bailed out.
We got sold out!
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 What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
Appreciate it.
Bad for America!
Hey, that's what I said. I only learned of this morning. I want that price. I sent a message because at least you wanted to see something to know what I'm running there. And I had let it go. This is one of
Banks got bailed out.
We got sold out!
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 What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
Bank of America.
Bad for America!
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 What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do you do when the banks attack?
Stand up, fight back!
Banks got bailed out.
We got sold out!
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 What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What happened? They just reverted the title back to the bank. That guy was just a signatory for the
Right, but it doesn't matter. We want to know how much they paid.
79,000.
79. So folks know the mortgage on this house, sitting on this house right now, is $220,000. They just sold the house for slightly under $80,000. So what's going on is the bank would rather lose the money of going at $80,000 than doing a refinance down to today's values for this guy who can afford to pay for it. So that's what they just did, and they do this over and over and over again. And it is mind-blowing. And they sleep at night. Yeah. So that's what that's what's going on in our neighborhood. There are folks who, if the banks would just write the mortgage down to what the house is actually worth, they can afford the mortgage. But the banks won't do that. They would rather auction the property off and then empty it out and have it sit here and go to hell.
I have a question.
So, yeah.
I'm not personally a member of the Anti-Foreclosure Team, but don't we have the right to go to their homes and chant all night?
Sure, absolutely.
Why don't we do that?
Well, the issue is that it's the biggest banks, and I'm not sure how many board members are even in the state of Massachusetts.
Can we post the number of the bank that just sold this and all call to say that we were
Well,
here
actually,
today?
the people to call and harass would be the lawyers for this bank.
Who are the lawyers for this bank?
Where's Chris? Chris, do you have the number that I sent you for the lawyers that you called yesterday?
I don't think I have it up yet.
We could post it on the Occupy website.
You could post it on the Occupy. We could post it on the Occupy website, and we can look up the issue with banks, the big banks that own these properties. Although it's New York Mellon, they probably could deserve a bunch of calls. The problem with them is that they don't. Hey Donnie, we took care of it. Can I call you back? All right, I'll call you back. Yeah, that was us. All right, bye. Sorry, local cop, I had called in because I tried to enter the property. The issue is, in this case, some people may know a big piece of what, all right, let me back up. This whole situation we consider immoral. We also know that there are some things we can fight in court because they're illegal, and what's immoral and what's illegal are two separate things these days. Sorry, I tend to talk with my hands. So just so you know, what I'm talking about now is what's illegal about what they're doing. Well, we were talking about before about them selling property instead of letting people refinance it at present day value is the moral issue. The legal issue in this case, and it's true in a lot of cases, is that the mortgage got handed off to another bank. And to do that, they have to write an assignment each time they do it. But for the mortgages, and you guys may remember this, there were a bunch of mortgages that got bundled together. When they do that, there's a very special procedure they have to go through about assigning the mortgage to the right bank that is the trustee for that mortgage bundle, and then having that bank transfer it. It's a very specific process they're supposed to follow. And the folks who know much more than I do say that in almost all cases, they do it wrong. So we've looked at these folks' paperwork from the Registry of Deeds, and it seems pretty clear that what they did was probably wrong. It takes more research to look at the Security Exchange Commission's website, to look up the trust and all the rules for it. But the chances are very good that the bank that just foreclosed does not, in fact, own this mortgage. And so that's a deeper issue, that the banks have been doing all these different things that were illegal on top of what they've done that's immoral. And so in many cases, these auctions, if we could really, push through all the legal issues, they would not be able to foreclose anyway. But the key thing to remember in Massachusetts is that ownership of property is separate from possession of property. So while the bank took ownership today, they do not have the right to kick people living in this house out. That is a separate process. They have to actually take you to court and evict you. And most people in our state still don't know that those two things are separate. So they get terrified when an auction happens that they're going to have to be, ready to have the movers come the next day or two and move their stuff out. And it's not true. Because of the fight that's happened for decades in our state, in the early 90s, when there was a much smaller foreclosure crisis where the banks were doing some illegal stuff, the Attorney General at that time won a case that separated possession and ownership. And so I believe we're the only state in the country where ownership and possession are two different things. But it's very important because it's one of the things we can do to protect our neighborhoods and our neighbors and the homes and all the other things in our lives, is to make sure that people, even if there is an auction where the property is bought, that they don't leave. They do not have to leave until they're evicted by court, and that gives us a lot of opportunity to make the legal cases about the illegal things the banks did. So we are going to keep following this property because they've taken ownership, potentially illegally, but they haven't taken possession yet. So we have another round of fighting that'll come a few months from now if they try and evict the folks living here. So.